Okay, let's start slowly. Welcome everyone to this drop-in session announcing and presenting a new feature we have released in the product. So it will be made available to everyone later today. So that will be available to everyone, to all workspaces. And this is the ability to create a glossary of terms and definitions directly in Skore in the product. What we have realized is that us as consultants, business analysts, or working with customers, whether they are external customers so from other companies, or very often or people who are using Skore are acting like consultants within their company. They tend to work with teams all over the places. And these teams tend to have their vocabulary. They use a lot of PLAs, or three letters acronyms. They use a lot of wordings, or they may have their own definition of some terms. For example, a product brief or a product template may not be the same if you're talking to a marketing department or a product development department. That comes from a real example where these two teams were talking about a product brief, but the content was completely different because they were not looking at the same kind of data. So we decided to create a glossary, which is in the process library in the Skore interface. But how can we use the actual items that we put in it directly in the process map? I think this is what makes it really good. So let's start with a little demo here. I have a demo process that you may recognize from last week. It's always the same. Let's go to edit mode. So we see here we have, so it's a process about creating and translating labels. Here we have define all label text, marketing, and BT. What is BT? You know, what does that mean? So this is where we can use the glossary now. So I can create BT. So what I did is I created hashtag BT. It doesn't find it, so I will just create it, BT. And now I've registered it as a glossary item. It's not defined yet, but at least there's a sort of a placeholder. And you see when I hover over, there's no definition yet. So what we can do is we can jump to the glossary directly from the process map. There's a couple of other ways to reach that, but I can go here. Then I should find BT here at the bottom of my list. And BT means black text. For labels, it is all the regulatory, mandatory information on that must be displayed. Voilà. Okay, so that's BT. That's let's say this marketing department, they always talk about BT because it's nicer to talk about black text than mandatory regulatory information. Now I've defined it. So okay, it's not instant. We need to reload the page in this case. But now when I hover over the BT, I have the definition for the black text. Okay, so this is a great way to, when you are, it's global, Alistair. This is a great way when we are in a workshop and people are capturing or they are saying all these things, we can capture them in live. It works for acronyms like that. This is the best use case, but maybe we can also do that for something more global. Let's say a label. We can define what is a label. Okay. So then again, I can do the same. So this time, so label is also underlined with the little dots. So this time I will go at the workspace level. So I'm back to my workspace, and we see here a new item. So you have the processes, the media library, and now you have the glossary. And again, we can define what is a label. Label are all the consumer-facing information visible on the product. It is generally made of marketing texts and BT. Why not? You can get recursive. So we can have acronyms in acronyms definitions. Why not? So if I go to label here and I hover over the BT, I have the hover over to the black text. So we can have glossary items within glossary items. I haven't tried yet one more level though. So label. So now when I go back to my drop-in process, example process. It was in the demo. So yeah, now I have my label and I have my BT text directly hover over. And yeah, we've been using that for internally for a couple of days or weeks maybe now. And this is incredible how it really helps to say, all right, I have this term that I keep using across the process, and now I can just have a little definition of it. I was mapping processes for compliance and conformity, and I was using things like NC, a non-conformity, something that comes all the time, or defects, or an action. You can even define what is an action in your business. So this is a very, very flexible feature that I think would be very good for anyone really mapping processes for other teams or to onboard new users in your community. Can it be per process as well as we work per multiple customers? So at the moment, it's not built to be per process. That's really a central glossary items that we are sharing. Yeah, we would need to think about that for this use case. So the glossary items, they also have a dedicated page. This can be useful. Here the URL is unique to these glossary items. So if you imagine a definition with a longer text, that can also be shared with someone directly online per Slack or Teams or any other website. So you can use that as a reference as well. Voila. So this is in the end, this is a fairly simple and straightforward feature. I think this will really enrich processes. This will really help giving another little layer of information to clarify or avoid misunderstanding between users of a process. So we make sure that everyone is on the same page, everyone talks about the same thing, and if there's a doubt, they can just hover over a box and see that. So does it work with the feature I demoed last week? Yes, indeed. So the glossary items. So let's take this document I had last week. So that's the document I created last week for the example demo. And here as well, I can use the glossary. So if I take label, boom, that's let's go to view mode. That works exactly the same, basically. That's the text editor we use at the box level on the diagram canvas, and here in the document is exactly the same. So that's why actually, just to extend your question, all the features you have in the box editor that you can do on the process, like inserting media, the links to everything, you can just do the same exactly here in the document as well. And next week, I think it will be Craig talking about the quantify module. We haven't done that for quite a while. So the quantify module helps you like putting numbers on processes. Yeah, so Craig will run through a use case of getting very valuable insights out of the quantify module very easily. You will see both the glossary and the documents as well. The document that I introduced last week, so the text-based documents in Skore as well are being released.